What's up, everyone? This is Danielle Hall and Jason Medley with The Collective Genius, and we are here in Orlando, Florida at our Q4 2021 event. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. We've had a great event so far. We've been talking about a concept. We really think that our industry is in a spot with all the, I guess you'd say, the professionalization that's happening with a lot of the institutions that are coming into our industry, reaching a point where branding needs to intersect with marketing. And so that's really something that we're pushing our members into 2022. It's not just about, sending out TV ads and direct mail and pay-per-click, but also truly establishing a brand that differentiates yourself from the typical crowd, right? Our industry over the last several years, because of the access to education and honestly the low barrier to entry point, there's a lot of people who may not have the best of intentions when it comes to working with sellers, etc. And so we're pushing our crew to stay out in front of that and to establish their brand and how they conduct business, what they stand for, what they stand against, so they can clearly stand out from the crowd. And we're going to be putting the icing on the top of that tomorrow. We've got Frank Kern, who's probably one of the most sought after direct response marketers in the country, if not the planet. And he's going to be teaching a principle of his called intent-based branding and walking through that in detail. And then what we've done is instead of just you as the CEO or the founder of the organization becoming the face, we've actually built out a platform that shows you how to utilize your team and build KPIs around having your team do intent-based branding videos that enable them to talk about your brand while at the same time generating leads. Even gone as far as a gentleman on our leadership team, Eric Brewer, he's out of York, PA, who he'll probably do 300 plus transactions this year. He went through the customer journey, right? Starting at like outbound dialer to lead setter to acquisition, all the way out the back to TC, transaction coordinator, and built talk tracks, 3 different talk tracks for each of those positions. So when our members get home, they can start having their team help them with their social media branding push. So that's kind of been the gist of it for the last couple of days. So we're here rocking it, and tons of connections going on too, so that's been cool.
What are some of the connections that you've been able to make at this event?
Yeah, so that's a long list. That's really one of the things that we pride ourselves in here at CG, but it's probably easiest to tell you about the one that I literally just did seconds when you asked me if I wanted to cut this video. Right as we were walking out here, Dee grabbed me, and I was introducing Mike Watson and Stephen Lloyd, right? So Mike is a gentleman out of Utah. He's got close to 4,000 doors coming out of the ground on new construction multifamily. And there's another gentleman, it's his first time here, his name is Steve Lloyd, and he was in my room yesterday when we were doing hot seats, and he said his single biggest need was deploying capital, and he's looking for distressed paper, multifamily assets. He gave us a list of asset classes that he was interested in, and so I'm sitting in the room just now with one of our other speakers, and I'm seeing Steve, and then Mike walks in the room, and that brain, that connecting brain started working. And so I connected a gentleman again who's got about 4,000 plus doors coming out of the ground with someone who's looking to deploy millions and millions of dollars in capital on the equity side of multifamily. So literally as we were walking out here, they're sitting right there outside of our meeting room on the couch, making a connection, and those types of connections and introductions usually lead to both sides winning. Somebody's raising money, somebody's deploying capital, right? So that's a great example of some of the connections. And as a matter of fact, when we were walking out of the room, I saw Rich Scola, and he's driving a fund right now that's looking to buy about 2,500 doors per year over the next 2 years, next 24 months or so. And so what they're doing is they come in, they've a member at CG, and they give us a list of the markets that they're in, but a list of the markets. Okay, now we're established. We've got a ton of CG members who are funneling deal flow to them in those markets, and then it's so easy for them as they progress into new markets because they give us a list, and then we introduce them to the people in our on our platform that are generating leads inside of those markets, right? So we are those are a connection that's a ton of our members are selling properties to them to help them build that portfolio that they'll probably look to package up and exit over the next couple of years. So just lots of connections here, right? One of the things we always talk about from a mastermind perspective is that I think a lot of people think that you're coming to be taught something, and the reality of it is that most of our members are at a level where it's not that they don't know what they're doing, they're playing at a super high level, but it's really about perfecting the execution of what they're doing. And in addition to that, finding opportunities, connections that help them buy houses, sell houses, lend money, borrow money, do syndications together. Earlier today we did a live around like Fernando Angelucci, who's just did a ground up construction, 106,000 square feet, 932 units, 932 door self-storage facility. He brought that deal, and one of our members brought the equity to the equation, Scott Myers, who got a capital injection for bringing the money. In addition to that, he got a percentage of the equity on the exit. They exited that deal. It was projected to be like 3 to 5 years, and they exited in 18 months. I think they were all in at just over $10 million and exited at over $18 million in again in a much shorter interval than they anticipated. So just tons of connections going on here. We're out here having a blast. Everybody started out the morning hooping, right? That's like a thing here at CG. A lot of people get up early in the morning. A bunch of folks will go work out together. A bunch of folks, there was like 25 people on the basketball court hooping. Just everybody having a ton of fun. And then when we wrap up tomorrow, after Frank Kern comes in and drops some science about intent-based branding, then Thursday and Friday we're just all going to be here hanging out at the pool, having a cocktail or two, and really connecting, taking everything that we've learned over the last couple of days and figuring out how we form partnerships and joint ventures, etc., and go to the next level in 2022. So
very cool. So if someone, speaking of connection, if someone was interested in connecting with one of our members at our next event, where can they go?
Sure. The cool part about what you're asking is we can tell you who they are before you get there. So if you want to learn a little bit more about us, you can go to learnmoreaboutcg.com, and there's a bunch of stories there, if you will, about connections and how we've helped our members scale. Give you a lot of details, and it's very proof driven as well, right? So, but the thing that I would, to really technically answer your question, if you wanted to connect with members and even get an idea of who that might be, once you go to learn more about CG, you can fill out an application process and set up an appointment, a consult, if you will, to really look at like how can we help you in 2022. We're going to figure out what your goals are, and then we're going to actually say, based upon what you're trying to accomplish, here are the people that we could introduce you to that will help you really compress the time frame of achieving those goals, right? That's one of the things we always talk about doing here is, a lot of people in our room are visionaries. You wake up, you have that vision for a better tomorrow, and then you struggle with closing the gap with your reality of today and that vision for tomorrow. And that's what we do. We compress that time frame. That's what you buy. That's what you invest in when you come here to CG. So we would love the opportunity to help you. We've been at it for 12 plus years, and we have a ton of powerhouses in the room. It's a ton of fun, and come check us out.